Is this now a three-man race on the Republican side?
Well, it used to be that the old saw was that you got 3 tickets out of Iowa, but when you got 12 candidates, there is a chance for somebody to pop up and surprise in New Hampshire. But this does change the dynamic of the race. Ted Cruz had a strong organization in Iowa. He devoted a lot of time. New Hampshire doesn't necessarily pay much attention to what happens in Iowa, and it's unclear whether that this state is far less church, that is to say less evangelical than Iowa. Trump, he was gracious tonight. But shorn of the Winners' Cup, his speech was basically, "I love you, and I won't forget that that I came here and I might buy a farm here." There was no compelling message. Rubio took advantage of the moment. He talked about a positive and optimistic agenda. It had struck notes of nationalism, patriotism, emphasis on economic growth. He clearly showed tonight he intends to make the most of his third place finish here.
There's always been this thought that there's this establishment, quote, lane of Rubio and Kasich and Christie and Bush. Does this, the fact that he's at 22 or 3% and they're all down in the low single digits, does this give him a big edge in New Hampshire?
I have a vague recollection of 2000 where McCain didn't play at all in Iowa, excuse me, and 8 days later dealt us a 19-point loss in New Hampshire. Look, in New Hampshire, they're parochial. They want you to be there. The question for Rubio is, has he spent enough time in New Hampshire that he can take advantage of?
As opposed to Kasich and Christie, who've been living there.
And Jeb, yeah, exactly right. And that's going to be a big question. But what we saw here was he didn't spend as much time in Iowa. He didn't do the full Grassley as others had done. He didn't have the big rallies going back months. He came in here at the late and swooped up. Maybe his sense of timing will be as good in New Hampshire.
Now, I've got to say, Joe, watching Rubio on that stage, he didn't win. Cruz won, and we're going to see Cruz in a moment. But I've got to think for a Democratic Party that wants to talk about Republicans as the rich, the white, non-inclusive, not minorities, to see that beautiful Hispanic family up there on the stage, Hispanic American family, that's got to frighten Democrats.
Well, yeah, no, Rubio's always been one of the people that Democrats have been the most worried about. There are others, some of the governors, but he's always been one, and I think he was smart to get down there. He looked like he was declaring victory the way he went down there. But I think he's the big story tonight. I mean, there's lots of stories here, but we expected Cruz and Trump to be, to be in a fight for first and second. And I know there was a feeling that Rubio might be coming on, but I don't think anybody expected to see him climb into the 20s and be as close to Trump as Trump was to Cruz. That's a pretty amazing accomplishment.